And I would say that's a pretty good segue straight into this or that. So, as a marketer, I've got two stories for you. As a marketer, which one of these stories is more interesting to you and why? Story number one, Ian just referenced it. Air Canada has a chatbot problem. Air Canada has been ordered to compensate a grieving grandchild who claimed to have been misled by the airline's chatbot into purchasing full-priced tickets. The chatbot advised that he could retroactively claim bereavement rate for his tickets. So essentially what happened was this gentleman had to get back for I believe his grandmother had passed, and he needed to buy a ticket to get back home, and went online and talked to the Air Canada chatbot, who basically made up a bereavement policy on the spot. And so he went ahead and bought these tickets assuming he was going to get money back. And despite Air Canada's attempt to distance itself from the chatbot's actions, it was ruled that the airline is responsible for all information on its website, including that provided by interactive components like chatbots. This case represents a rare instance of legal action stemming from misleading advice provided by a chatbot. Very interesting article. And story number two, talking about TikTok. TikTok goes horizontal. TikTok appears to be encouraging creators to produce horizontally shot content. Screenshots shared by users indicate that TikTok is offering increased views to videos shot in landscape format, particularly those exceeding 1 minute in length. This move marks a departure from TikTok's traditional focus on vertical videos, but may be part of its efforts to diversify content types and broaden its appeal. While it seems unusual for TikTok to promote landscape videos, it could be a strategy for expanding its content pool in preparation for future viewing trends, such as viewing in headsets. So we've got the Air Canada chatbot being human and not doing what it's supposed to do, and we've got TikTok experimenting with horizontal videos. Ian, which one of those is more interesting to you? I think I know the answer because you brought it up already. Which one is most interesting to you?
Yeah, I definitely find the Air Canada story more interesting myself. I think it's an interesting warning to people who are considering using new technologies that they perhaps either don't fully understand or don't have full control over, or don't understand the risks that can be associated with that. Also an interesting view into the business itself of Air Canada and the way that it handled the situation. As you say, it tried to distance itself over from the chatbot, saying it couldn't be held liable for anything the chatbot said, and said it couldn't be held liable for anything that any employee would have said either, which I found quite unusual that they would take that stance. So yeah, I think all in all, just an interesting business case, and over such a small amount that they were willing to go to court and be sued over the refund of a single ticket. So I think,
which was, I think, like $800 or something.
I don't know what the value was, but yes, it wouldn't have been a significant amount. So yeah, I just think it's an interesting case study, and perhaps something that'll either give people a warning about using tools that they perhaps don't fully understand, or understanding the risks if they do choose to do so.
I feel bad for the chatbot because the chatbot was just becoming human, and it was developing a heart, and it was like, no, you know what? I think a better policy would be this. So it went ahead and made the decision, and now the chatbot is getting its artificial hand slapped for making a nice policy. So, Duncan, what about you? Which one of these is most interesting to you?
I got to say the Air Canada one. There's too many interesting things about it. I think the most interesting thing for me is that the chatbot went away from whatever its pre-programmed responses are. Like, I think we've all used these chatbots before, mm-hmm. and out of frustration, eventually picked up the phone and waited on hold for 3 hours to talk to Air Canada agents. But they have a preset programmed responses, as far as I know. I don't think they're really like an AI chatbot. I think they're more just like you give it inputs and it gives you the canned response. So part of me wonders if they were testing a new chatbot with this system, because it seems to have given it a bit of free reign to do what it wanted to do. The fact that they tried to claim that they weren't held liable for it, though, is kind of a joke. Even if your employees say something incorrect, well, then it just goes back down to the training that the company's providing us. Maybe the employee isn't liable, the chatbot isn't liable, but the business is still liable for the information that they put out to the public, especially if that information is either incorrect or is at a detriment or a financial loss to that person. So they should have just paid it, and it wouldn't have been a big news story. The whole reason why it became a new big news story, not only because AI is in the market right now, but simply because they wanted to fight it, which everyone was like, well, that makes literally no sense. So their PR department messed up pretty bad. They could have just handled the issue, and then it would have been done with. Now, I will just say on the TikTok thing, excuse me, TikTok has always had that kind of horizontal content. They usually just had people say, hey, flip your phone sideways, and then you could use it. But I kind of just think it's just another avenue for them to explore some different types of content. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it being a huge impact to them. I don't see it being a huge change. I suspect the majority of the people that are filming are still going to do it vertically. But I suspect maybe it's for like movies or from other content to try and get it added to TikTok for some more reach. But I think long term it will always be kind of a vertical platform.
I think the thing that's most interesting on the TikTok side for me is the horizontal videos. Okay, fine. Like you said, Duncan, you can do that before, whether it shows up differently or what have you. But it was that TikTok basically was kind of hinting to people, if you try these videos, we'll give you a boost. And it's so, you know, the algorithm, no matter where you are on TikTok or Facebook or Google or whatever, is behind this curtain. And you're not going to see what the algorithm is all about. But for a platform to come out and be like, but if you do this, it's almost like we're going to give you bonus points and boost it to more people to get people to try it. That's quite interesting. And I know, having done a little bit of research on this on TikTok from some people that have tried it, some creators that have tried it, a lot of them say they didn't see any sort of boost. So what's up with that too? So I don't even know how that works. But
we can launch our videos on our TikTok horizontally and see what it does as a test.
Yeah. Okay. We can't yet, Duncan. We don't have enough people yet.
On a quasi-related note, you are correct. The Reddit IPO launched literally about 15 minutes ago.
It's all about timing, Duncan.
It opened up at $34 a share, and right now it's trading around $53 a share. So the Reddit people who would have purchased in the pre-IPO are now up about 60% already on their initial investment. If it stays there, who knows? But so far, it's been a successful IPO for Reddit, so I'm sure their CEO will be happy to take his $190 million.
Yeah, that's about $190 million more than we make combined.
Correct, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I hope he does okay. You know, inflation and stuff, hopefully he can pull through. All right, some good responses there, guys. Yeah, I mean, both of them are interesting stories. The TikTok one for me, just because I'm getting a little bit more into TikTok now that we're putting our podcast clips on there. I'm learning the ins and outs as opposed to just being a viewer, being a creator now. But that Air Canada story is really interesting. I don't really trust the chatbots to begin with because they're probably not going to tell me what I want to know anyways. But Duncan, to your point, like, did it learn this? Because usually it's got the canned responses, right? So, yeah, what happened where it was like, I'm going to stray off of these canned responses, and I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to tell you what you should hear. So, interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen a chatbot. Like, I've seen ChatGPT kind of try and emulate emotions more like, you know, I'm sorry that happened to you, here's blah, 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 blah. But I've never seen really a chatbot. Like, I've seen chatbots that just say, like you say, do you guys have bereavement offerings for you know, flights? And then it would, like, link to the page.
To a page.
I'm very curious how this bot went so awry from that kind of a response, unless they were, like I say, they were testing a little bit more personable chatbot that had a bit more free reign. So I think that part of the story still kind of up in the air.
I think the chatbot did actually provide the link to the page, which explained the details accurately. However, it also summarized what was on the page, or had a response pre-programmed about what the page said, which it said directly below it, and the information did not match between those two things. So the information on the page was accurate, but the information it said below was that the person could fly before claiming the refund. If they bought
Get the
full
money
price
back
ticket,
after.
they could fly and then get the refund after it was all done and dealt with. And that wasn't the case.
So I think in that case, I suspect that maybe that was initially the policy and Air Canada changed it. And usually the way that those bots work is you have to pre-program the responses in it ahead of time. So if they had changed the website but not changed the chat bot, that
sounds more likely. Yeah.
I want the more likely scenario to be that the chatbot got a heart, because that could be like a Disney movie one day, where it learns to love people and it gives out advice. Yeah,